Amazing, isn't it?
It is
the hubris.
Astonishing.
The hubris of this editorial is stunning. It's unbelievable.
I mean, I'm so glad to hear you say that, because my eyes popped out of my head. My hair stood on end. I could not believe it. And yet I had the two editorials side by side. Yours, where you were saying that the vision of small government is really winning, and his, which of course was complaining about tyrants taking over, wealthy, just is unbelievable. So let's go to yours. Why do you think that the vision of small government is winning?
Well, I think Charles Koch has, and other wealthy campaign contributors have basically bought the political process. And their key interest is to cut their own taxes and to gut regulation so that his industry, one of the most polluting and dangerous in the world, can have free rein despite the devastating effects that it's having on climate change, for example. And he's winning because in America right now, money dominates democracy. Money dominates the political process. And the arrogance of this guy to parade this, first he inherited his wealth, so all that hard work, thanks Dad. This is a guy and his brother who had the windfall and then try as best they can to own the political system, and they are having a massive effect because we can't even fund the most basic things in our government anymore. We can't even guarantee places for poor kids to have preschool. We're seeing America surpassed in infrastructure and education and technology and productivity and competitiveness, and we're gutting the very ways to respond so that these people can. I don't know what you do, after your first billion, why you need 30 billion, why the two brothers need $60 billion. It's grotesque.
It is grotesque. You are right about that. So I want to get to the nut of this question. What should the role of government be in creating jobs in America? Should the U.S. have industrial policy? In addition to the education piece and the infrastructure piece you talked about, should the U.S. be more aggressive?
Well, can we start just with education for a moment to keep things in perspective? In the United States now, about 1/3 of our young people end up being able to get a 4-year bachelor's degree. If you get that, you may still have a hard time, but at least you have a foothold that can get you a middle-class life. If you have a high school degree in this country, staying out of poverty is a full-time, everyday challenge right now. And since most kids don't have that shot at a 4-year degree right now, we are not investing in America's future. And we have even manufacturing firms producing in the United States is saying we can't fill our positions. We have high unemployment, but they're looking for skilled workers, and they're not finding the skills right now because we're not doing the job we need for job training, for skill provision, for helping kids get through education, and so forth. If we don't do this, if we don't invest in our own people, this country will absolutely continue to fall apart, which is what it's doing. Those with only a high school degree right now have unemployment that is twice the unemployment rate of those with a college degree, those without even a high school degree, and that is a shockingly large proportion of young people in this country, have essentially 3 times the unemployment rate.